Hello, and welcome to the 48th gathering of the Adventure Party on this, the 8th of May. I'm your party leader, Brad Ludwig. We ask that you peace tie your swords, holster your blasters, and make sure your gaming supplements are printed and at the ready while you are gathered at the meeting table. Our guest this week is Mike Myler, and he is a ENnie. Just make sure that you understand that, that is a Gen Con specific award, yes?
It is. It's from EN World started it, and now it is just a functionary of the Gen Con, yeah.
Oh, excellent. He is an ENnie-winning game designer, writer, and wearer of countless hats. I like that in your bio. He's worked with companies like Avalon Games, Fantasy Flight Games, Paizo Publishing, just to name a few. And we wanted to talk with Mike about how he got into the business, some of the projects he's worked on, and maybe get a bit of advice on how you could work towards writing that supplement or creating that game you've often dreamed of making. So thank you for joining us, Mike. Oh, and also, as an added bonus to everybody, Mike is going to be talking to us about his new product that he's put out, which is a supplement for D&D 5th edition, which is called The Mists of Akuma, which I love that name. So Mike is going to tell us all about that. We're going to basically be turning that over to him this time for the Kickstarter Spotlight. So, all right. Well, to start things off, we always do a game review with Glenn. And what do you have for us this week, Glenn? What?
I wasn't ready for this.
You're fired.
Oh, man, again. 3 times this week. No, I am bringing Quadropolis. Quadropolis is pretty darn new, brought to us from Days of Wonder. And game designer Francois Gendon. This is his first big project. It is 2 to 4 players, plays in about 30 to 60 minutes, and retails for between $50 to $55. What this game is each player, you're building your own, basically, metropolis, your own little city, using shops, parks, public services, ports, apartment complexes, or towers, as they're called in the game. In each round, you're going to have different architects, numbered 1 through 4. And then you have a 5x5 grid that has tiles that are available for you to basically purchase with your architects each turn. So if I play my number 1 architect, I look and I can take any architect in any building in row number 1 or column number 1. So I play my number 1 architect. If I play my number 3, any building in row 3 or column 3. However, when I take a building, so if I'm the first player, I take my building from the tile, there's this little other guy called the urbanist. He goes in the empty space where I just took a tile from. And now no one can line their architect up with that guy. So it basically blocks out some tiles from being chosen till the next player takes something. So the next player will take something, and that urbanist will move to that space. So you kind of block out little bits here and there. And there are times when you won't be able to take all 4 of your architects because there won't be a tile for you to take because you'll be blocked from taking it. So part of it is knowing when to play which architect to get the best buildings you can, or just get a building if you can get it. Once you have those tiles, you add them to your own city. And depending where you put it can get you different bonuses. First of all, some things will either grant you people or they'll grant you power. And people and power will be used to basically make other buildings work. If you put people in shops, that means they're buying stuff. If you build a tower, it gives you people. If you have a port can give you people or power, and all these different things require different resources to make them work. Well, different being people or power. And the more people you have in a shop, the more points it's worth at the end. If you have ports next to cities, you get bonuses because the goods don't have to travel as far to get to the cities. If you have parks next to the apartment towers, you get bonus points for that because people like having parks nearby. But there's also a trick is that you don't want too many people or too much power, because if you don't use it all by the end of the game, it counts as overpopulation and pollution, which gives you negative points. Ooh. So you're trying to maximize everything so that you get all the stuff you need without having too much. So you don't want to lose those points. That's where parks can also come in handy, because parks will help absorb some of that extra pollution. So I like the fact that it's it's got this great mechanic with the whole urban, is the whole blocking off of different areas, because sometimes you might take a building you don't need as badly to set up someone else and not be able to take something that would do them good, because you'll block that piece from them. And because of the fact that it's the tiles are drawn out randomly, it's set up different every time you play. I mean, yes, you still have the same end goals, but you can't always say, oh, I'm going to go for ports to win, because you might not get ports. You might not get the picks you want. So you have to be able to do different strategies each time you play. I have not been able to win the same way. Well, I haven't won every time I played, but for the times I have won, I have been able to do it the same way twice. I've had to do different strategies based on what tiles I'm able to get at what time. So it's really, I like a lot of these different city buildings that have been coming out. This one, I talked before about, I think, New York 1901 I've mentioned. So there's just been some good city building games that it scratches that itch that I get when I think back to SimCity 2000.
Oh, sure.
I used to play that, and especially if this one doesn't have the risk of Godzilla coming and destroying your city. And you don't have to worry about crime either, and wonder why on a block with 7 police departments you still have a block of crime.
Yeah.
But
or deal with taxing.
Yes, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good, what I would call kind of more gateway type game, in that it's got plenty of strategy, but the rules themselves are very easy and quick to pick up.
Yeah, it seems like looking at some of these pictures, and we're back to doing screen share again using Blab. So
look at how much fun those people are having.
Yes. And this looks like a multi-generational game here. So it's very accessible for everybody. And it looks like how long does a game take? It doesn't look like it takes too long to play.
30 to 60 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
It's a nice fitted in pretty easily. I've done a 2-player game in right about 30 minutes. Most of 4-player ones after the first time through takes about an hour.
Okay. Setup is only like 1-2 minutes.
Yeah, it's basically each player gets their player board. You get your architects, your 1 through 4 architects, and then you randomly draw the 25 tiles you need for turn 1.
Oh, nice. So, Mike, are you much of a board gamer in what little free time you probably have?
No, I don't get to do a lot of... I mean, I tried out... My friends were all way into Arkham Horror. So,
sure, yeah.
I took a swing with that, and I was like, wow. So now that we spend hours setting up the board, guys, can we play the game? And then, like, I don't know. My mom always cheated at board games and stuff, so that gave me sort of a sour appreciation for them. Let's see. You know what? I'm looking forward to playing some of the Paizo adventure card game.
Okay.
Have you guys seen that in play yet? It's pretty impressive.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I almost bought a copy at PaizoCon 2 years ago, and I didn't. I kind of wish I had. So this year, I intend to fix that. Yeah,
Glenn is he manages a game shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So he gets to handle a lot of the games that we talk about. He's in the know, which is really nice.
Or at least I can take it.
We didn't talk about what does it retail for?
50 to 55.
Okay, that's well within that sweet spot that we talk about for a good quality game, and you're going to get good quality pieces for that kind of a price tag.
Absolutely. And
it has high replayability, and it's easy to learn, quick to play. Why wouldn't you want that in your gaming library? That's my question to you.
Play it too, because you're probably just like, oh, it's SimCity, but we're all playing at once, and there's no computer. And everybody knows what SimCity is, right?
Sure, exactly. All right then. Well, we're going to talk about Patreon briefly here, and we'd love to have your support. If you enjoy what you hear or what you see, if you're checking us out on YouTube, consider helping us with web and audio hosting. Your support for as little as $1 a month can help keep the lights on, as they say, and help us grow the network. $3 a month gets you a monthly newsletter with extra stories related to all of our podcasts, and $5 a month gets you an extra episode of each of our podcasts, while only available exclusively to our patrons. So please go to patreon.com/galacticnetcasts and support us at the level that you feel is right for you. Now, we just talked about Paizo, and they've just released Ultimate Intrigue, which I am intrigued to get my hands on and take a look at. Our Monday Night Gaming group plays, we play Pathfinder, and we're wrapping up a 6-module game that we've been playing now off and on for, I think we figured out, about 4 years.
I hate you. I mean, you're awesome, Brett.
I don't know about that, but we've been playing it off and on for 4 years. Part of it was we finished up a module before the next one was available in some cases. In other cases, the game master was just kind of a little burnt, because now, especially now that we're at high levels, we're at like level 18 right now, and wrapping up this all-villain. It's a villain game, which is kind of interesting. We have to subjugate the entire the world, essentially, and we're in the home stretch, so we're going to see how this all pans out.
Good fight.
Yeah. But I digress. In the right setting, a single scathing word can prove deadlier than a poisoned dagger. Behind the scenes of heroic battles in magical realms lies a seething underbelly of danger and deception. This world of intrigue holds endless possibilities for adventure as heroes duel with words instead of steel, plot daring heists, and engage in battles of wills against relentless nemeses. A high-stakes game of shadows and secrets is yours to master if you have the wits. Whether the heroes are taming the blood-soaked back alleys of their favorite metropolis or jockeying for the queen's favor alongside highborn nobles, Pathfinder RPG Ultimate Intrigue is an invaluable companion to the Pathfinder RPG core rulebook. This imaginative tabletop game builds upon more than 10 years of system development and an open playtest featuring more than 50,000 gamers to create a cutting-edge RPG experience that brings the all-time best-selling set of fantasy rules into a new era. Now, they've got some new character classes for us, which is kind of cool. The Vigilante. A person who basically lives two lives, that of the unassuming member of the community and the cloaked crusader with his own agenda. They've got archetypes, which are available here too. Alchemists, bards, druids, hunters, inquisitors, investigators, mesmerists, rangers, rogues, slayers, spiritualists, and more. There are new feats and magic items for characters of all sorts, granting mastery of street-smart combat, impenetrable disguises, and misdirection. Dozens of spells to manipulate tense social settings, whether to reveal adversary secrets or hide the truth. See, now I could see how that would be really... Oh my gosh, we lost Mike. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, hopefully he comes back. Where are we? Complete system of influence, providing new goals and rewards to challenge players and link their fortunes to non-player characters and organizations. Systems and advice to help game masters introduce a variety of new encounters into their games, daring heists, extended pursuits, and tense searches for buried secrets. Rules for social combat. Ooh, that's nice. Verbal duels, allowing characters to use words as weapons to sway hearts and humiliate foes. Wow. I have, I think, Ultimate Combat, Ultimate Magic. Yeah, I think those are the two Ultimate guides that I have currently. Collectively in our gaming group, we've probably got all of them covered at this point.
Okay.
I think Ultimate Adventure, I think was that the last one that they put out? Taking a look here very quickly. Oh, Ultimate Campaign. That's what it was.
Ah.
Yep. So another book in the Ultimate line of books, which I have yet to read one that I kind of went, that didn't seem necessary. I know you don't get to play all that much, but you get to watch people play. What are some of the things you've heard about the Ultimate Guides that you've seen people use so far?
I haven't heard that much. I mean, there's always people who want more. They want more characters. They want more options of what to play. However, I also noticed that a lot of people who are constantly asking for more characters to play still end up playing the same things all the time.
Yeah.
I want more options. Here you go. I'm going to be a fighter. What?
Yeah.
What?
You can be a mesmerist. No. What was it? In this villains campaign that I was talking about, I'm playing a warlock, essentially, a male witch, and their power structure is so crazy in that they have hexes, which are instantly usable magic abilities. And right now I'm at such a high level that I've got resurrection, where once a day, without material components, I can bring somebody back from the dead. As long as they haven't been dead for too long. So,
all right.
Yeah. So that's, I've got a very interestingly structured witch. But, what's really fascinating is it's like a hybrid of sorcerer, wizard, and cleric. You have, healing abilities, but also harm abilities. And, one of the hexes allows you to, if you want to, you could sleep underwater. And that would be, you just dive in, go to sleep, boom.
All right.
Oh, Occult Adventures. Mike just popped in. Okay.
Yeah, my store our other store does a lot of Pathfinder. They have 2 or 3 tables every Sunday. My store doesn't have as much as far as Pathfinder goes. We're more just D&D.
Okay, okay.
I sell Pathfinder, but just not as much as I do some of the other stuff. As much as I do the D&D stuff. Especially since 5th edition has come out. That has really, really changed a lot of what people buy. I sell a lot of 5th edition D&D.
Sure. All right. Oh, Mike's having some issues here, so give me just a second. I'm going to grab my phone in case we need to do a call. Right. Hang on. Oh, boy. Okay. Oops. I can't wait to edit this one.
It'll be fine.
What I'm going to do is, Mike seems to be having some issues here, so I'm going to... and give him the opportunity to call in. on his cell or his landline, whatever would work for him, if that would work better. So back to Paizo. One of the great things that there we go. Mike.
Yeah, sorry about that. My browser's not doing well with WebRTC today. I couldn't get on Roll20 today earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, no worries, man. We got you back, and I've got a nice setup here, so I can just tap my phone right into the board here, and we can make it happen.
That's fantastic. Ultimate Intrigue is really neat. The Vigilante is really awesome. It's a very interesting way for them to take the design of the core mechanics, because they already did the tech guide, and now they're doing Ultimate Horrors next year.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I'm expecting that to be like their Book of Vile Darkness, and I'm kind of looking at Pathfinder and wondering if they're starting to meander around near the end of the game's life cycle.
Okay.
But I mean, that's very speculative. So.
Okay. What I was going to say is the one thing I really like about Pathfinder, and I'm sure that because you've had a chance to kind of, roam and kind of put your mark on the system as well, is just having it be open to people creating resources for the game to expand settings and give people other sandboxes to play in, as it were.
Yeah, no, Paizo is always been very encouraging in that. They do, they'll put stuff on their store blog and what have you. But their core, the thing about, so I think they're going to try to drag out the original Pathfinder rule set out as long as possible, because the core, mechanics for their business revolves around subscriptions, right?
Sure.
Your game store, you say you mostly do D&D,
yeah.
right? Fine. Yeah. So, but I mean, you still sell Pathfinder stuff, and it's probably modules under subscription.
Not a lot. We don't really sell a lot of Pathfinder.
Hold on.
It's just been we have some regular people who play, and they buy a little bit of stuff in the store. They get a lot of their stuff elsewhere.
Oh yeah, direct.
A lot of them buy direct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So they've got this really great core subscription group that, they can always fall back and rely on. We know we're going to have projected sales of this and this kind of a number. But whenever they jump to a second system, that's going to be really rough. And they've got a way better network than D&D ever had for Adventurers League. The Pathfinder Society is crazy. I walked by one of their mass events at Gen Con last year, and it was just like this huge ballroom just filled with people, and they had 100 GMs, and they're all communicating with each other with hand signs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So it's a different monster, and it's not as easy for Paizo to release another rule system as it is for Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast is just oh, screw you customers, you're gonna buy it. It's Dungeons and Dragons. They were a little bit more savvy about 5th edition than they were 4th, but still.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it looked like 5th edition. They learned a lot of lessons from 4 and from what Paizo has managed to create, and especially with them bringing back some of their classic monsters and Ravenloft and some of those iconic bits of D&D history, and also kind of opening things up a little bit. I haven't done 5th edition yet, but everything that I've seen and everything I've read, it just seems to be really they've really put something together that they should be proud of.
Yeah, well, I mean, D&D 4th is something that people should be proud of. They just shouldn't have called it Dungeons and Dragons. They should call it Gauntlet, or just not D&D, because they pulled all the thematics away from mechanics to appeal to the MMO market, and that was a mistake. They're being way smarter this time. You saw the Zendikar thing they put out? It was just last week, yeah. And a bunch of people are freaking out because, that's their main target group, the Magic the Gathering players, who are all 25 to 28 now is their core group now. Instead of looking for 15-year-olds to pick up 2 packs, they're expecting, the 15-year-olds of 10 years ago needing to do that. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how far Zendikar takes them and how many people they can bring in from Magic the Gathering over to D&D.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, very cool. Well,
but Ultimate Intrigue, very cool. Vigilantes, very cool. And there's a lot of fun stuff in there. Like what was the one I really liked? Dress Corpse, a spell that you cast on a dead body to make it look like it was killed in a different way than it really was.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. See, now I want to own this book.
Well, that's the cool thing. Like, it's not going to become. I don't think it'll ever be GURPS in how detailed the simulation is, but that's one of the main differences between D&D 5th and Pathfinder at this point is that D&D is more D&D 5e is more of a narrative system as opposed to a simulation. And Pathfinder is this really great, intricate simulation. And they'll tell you, by the way, like when you run a game, don't just let your players use every single book they can find. Don't even let them use every single book on the PRD. Like, figure out what the game is about. If there are spaceships and aliens, include the spaceship and alien book. If there's, just hang around in cities, use Ultimate Intrigue. If there's going to be gladiator arenas, use Ultimate Combat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and speaking of Paizo, I'm really I got on board with Etheria, their space stuff.
Etheria, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really kind of pumped for that.
We're doing the last project I did, last Kickstarter I did, is called Hypercore 2099. It's about making your D&D 5th game or your Pathfinder game into a cyberpunk superhero game. And
I saw that. Yeah.
I got to know Robert Brooks because a lot of people I'm friends with are doing Avera, and I helped them fix his Kickstarter because it was not looking great that first week. But they funded, by the way. They ended up getting $50,000, which is amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, we're doing a panel with them, like me and my Hypercore team, and then the Avera people. We're doing a seminar at PaizoCon, and it should be recorded by somebody. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, speaking of other cool things, we're going to talk briefly about some of the other shows that are available on Galactic Netcasts, like The Alien Invasion, which is a show that I get to be a part of. Dave, the progenitor of the Galactic Netcasts network, and my girlfriend Anessa and I all talk about aliens in the news and stuff in sci-fi books, movies, comics, actual science. We'll talk about exoplanets. Recently, what was it? Stephen Hawking is teaming up with
Batman.
The Russian billionaire.
Russian entrepreneur.
Yeah, and they're going to be they're working towards, and it's probably not going to happen for the next 5 or 10 years. The technology, there's a couple bits that they don't quite have yet, but we're on the verge of. And they'll be able to, they're proposing that they can create something that they can get to go about a third of the speed of light, or something about that point. And they can shoot something to Alpha Centauri in about 4.5 years. So we would actually, I'm sorry, it's 4.2 light years away. That I got that backwards. It's 4.2 light years away. They can get it there in 20 years. And we would actually be able to start, the possibility is opening up to explore some of these other exoplanets and other worlds around us that we're very intrigued with. And so we talk about things like that. And if you want to check that out, you can just look for The Alien Invasion on gncasts.com. And you can find us on YouTube. We have a Alien Invasion playlist on YouTube. And we also, if you go to gncast.com, you can use your favorite podcatcher and catch us there. We're also on iTunes and Stitcher, and on the Google Play podcast system, which they just released a few weeks ago. So check it out, The Alien Invasion. We talked about Toxicity, I Am Zombie, last week in our Kickstarter Spotlight. And I'm pulling it up here. Sorry about that. Make-believe games. Yes. So right now, they're at 7 days to go. Their goal was $5,000, and we're very happy to report that they are at 11,392. So this is definitely a go, which I'm really happy for. Excuse me, for the team there. They reached out to us to let us know about toxicity. And let's see, looking at their current level, yes, they did get up to their even more ID cards. So at this point, to help create your character for toxicity, you now will have access to 108 ID cards so that you can, I'm going to throw this in the message in the chat here for folks that are joining us on Blab, and they can see that. Excuse me. So as you create characters, you use the ID cards to construct your character. So it's random, but you get to play a zombie. And they have kind of turned things a little bit on its head, and they've also put it in a grindhouse 70s kind of feel to the whole thing, which makes it unique, and that's really kind of exciting. So our hats off to the Make Believe Games team and getting this thing successfully funded, and with 7 days to go, they could quite possibly hit their next goal, which is toxicity dice, which you would be able to add 8 funky I Am Zombie toxicity dice.
There's a part of me that wants to get this game just so I can run it and be the GM using that grindhousey voice. You enter a room. It's pitch black. I'm the whole feel, the whole idea of this thing, because you're actually doing old school type crawling underneath the streets of 70s New York City. So it's got that whole grindhouse, like I said, grindhouse feel to it. It's a kind of a period piece, as it were, in the not too distant past, and all the additional things that they've got to go with this, like some of the stickers and everything else that they have going on with this. It looks like a lot of fun. So we're really happy that they've managed to make their goal. Now, our new Kickstarter spotlight that we're talking about, and one of the many reasons that we brought Mike onto the show, is he has put together and currently has on the Kickstarter Mists of Akuma, which is the Eastern Fantasy Noir Steampunk for 5th edition D&D. And since we have you here, Mike, we'd love to have you talk about this. How did it come about? And but please tell us more.
Okay, awesome. How it came about. Start there. Good place to start. I have long been obsessed with Eastern culture, least of which because I can eat almost all the food because there's very little milk to be found. I'm allergic to milk, so I'm used to never being able to walk into an American restaurant and just order food. So yeah, I ended up spending a lot of time in Chinese restaurants and reading up about Eastern philosophy and so on and so forth. And we were finishing up Hypercore. It actually the PDF just went on sale last week, and I'm still fighting with the printer to get it through the printer. And I was like, what do I want to do next? And I decided I definitely with Japan. So I sat down and I was like, okay, well, the most exciting part of Japan is the Tokugawa era. So there was this 300-year period of isolation where Japan was not trading with anybody except for the Dutch. And so anybody who was not Japanese was kicked off the mainland. And it ended up causing all these really crazy, weird, awesome cultural things to happen. And then in 1854, we sailed in, we being America, and Matthew Commodore Perry, and I pointed a steel gunship at Edo, Tokyo now, the capital, and demanded that they open up for trade. And I was like, okay, so what would make that not work out? Okay, well, let's say that Japan really was a magical place, and people have, spells and magic swords and stuff. And then from there, I was like, okay, well, then we'll up the power side of the American people, which I have brilliantly named Ceramians. And now they have electro ships that fly through the sky and it just all kind of tumbled forward from there. And I ended up going with noir and steampunk as my like other areas, because like there's a lot of cool like Eastern horror stuff that already exists, and I wanted to enjoy some of that, but I didn't want to make that the focus of the game, because if you want to do that, go play in Kaiden, or grab Onimusha and play through that again. But yeah, so I decided to do that, and then also, is cat going crazy inside? I don't know if you guys can see it. So in Hypercore and the book I did for the Rantic Codex, I'm more concerned with national issues, like how does this country of Griffin interact with the Red Fist Orc tribe down in the southwest, and like the traditional kingdoms between, and so on and so forth. And then in Hypercore we did another big view thing. It was like we covered Cleveland and New York and like utopian business islands owned by Hyper Corporations, and Latin America, and Transylvania 2099.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and Kathmandu too.
Okay.
Right. But it was still a very like broad look at stuff, and I decided I want to do something very, very like gritty and detailed. I want to spend like 10 pages writing about one single city, and that lends itself to noir. And also, like, I'm not the happy guy GM,
Sure.
Like, I like it when the players win. I don't hate it, but I want them to like really have to work for it. I want them to have to sacrifice stuff for it, and that really lends itself to a noir feel, and it fit like a glove. And then because I didn't want to make it a steampunk world, because again, go play an Eberron, go get the steampunk. What was the Steambound for Pathfinder that did really good? Or Pure Steam. I think it was called Pure Steam.
Oh, okay. Yep.
There's good stuff if you want to do steampunk. And Sober and the Abyss of Akuma are not a steampunk campaign setting. They're a campaign setting that has steampunk in it. So one of my favorite influences is Warhammer 40K. I love Warhammer 40K. I'm almost caught up on the Horus Heresy series. I just get through this novel like crap. And I really love the way that Heresy is, and I love how they treat technology. So, like, there's machine spirits and what have you. And in Japanese folklore, there's this really awesome thing called Tsukumogami. So after, like, 100 years, your sandals or, umbrella or whatever object is, after it exists for a century, it might wake up as, like, a creature. Like an intelligent, maybe angry, maybe polite. And I was like, okay, so, and it depends on how well it's treated. And the high technology oppressors of Mists of Akuma fell out of power about 50 years ago, but they've still got all this tech around. And the reason that everyone doesn't just use it is because there's a chance it might wake up to try to kill you. Oh. So I worked in the heresy element revolved around technology.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
That is truly unique.
You can't see it, but I am bowing. Yeah, no, I was really happy with it, and it's worked out really great in play. And unpackaging those ideas has been very, very fruitful. So, like, one of the other goals I'm doing here is I want to, like, I have no illusions that Wizards of the Coast is going to abandon Rokugan and Oriental Adventures, right? Like, that's coming down the line. It's Ravenloft and Eberron and all this stuff. And I'm going to beat them to the punch. So if you want rules on martial arts stances and katanas and Henge Yokai and Kappa and all the different kinds of Oni and stuff, even if you don't want to play in my dark, gritty, noir world, you might want to get this book just to mine stuff from it, because I'm making the Oriental Adventures toolbox.
Awesome.
We have something for every single class? Yeah, and that's how I got here. Tsukumogami. So, like, one of the class options is to be a ranger who hunts down Tsukumogami and is, like, taught all about Tsukumogami by a sensei object. So, like, your umbrella is your friend now, and they're basically your animal companion, and give you some other abilities. And then there's a chance if you have, like, a prosthetic, because there are lots of steampunk prosthetics, right? You can take a feat, have it wake up as a Tsukumogami. Yeah. I'm getting pretty good at making these campaign settings, man.
Nice.
And you can see all the stuff I'm talking about, by the way, because the Kickstarter page has 4 free.
Yes, I was looking through those.
That gives you a great idea what you get.
Yeah, I'm going to, for our YouTube folk, I'm going to flip now so that you can see on the screen that, yes, there are 4 different free PDFs of which you can click in, and depending on your browser, either you can look at it directly on the browser or you can save the file, and yeah.
Look what you're going to get.
Yeah, this is great. And I really appreciate Kickstarters that give you even more of a taste beyond the video as to what it's about. And that's beautiful to see that you've done that as well.
Well, it worked really good with Varantia, and it worked really good in Hypercore. And I haven't had a single dissatisfied person yet out of my 350 backers.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's really nice to have, like, nobody be like, "Raw, I don't like the thing that you gave me." Everyone is always like, "Oh my God, this is awesome. I can't believe this is twice the size of the book I was supposed to get." Yeah.
I really like your kudos to your art team here, because the pages here, just even on the free stuff, it has that kind of, that rice paper, kind of aged rice paper scroll type of look to it, which is very beautiful.
It's funny that you bring up the art. So I am hiring artists. Most of the Kickstarters to get money so I can hire artists. Only 2 pieces of artwork in all 4 of those PDFs are original.
Okay.
Oh, when I say original, I mean wasn't drawn by somebody who died in, like, the 19th century or 18th century.
Sure.
So during that Tokugawa isolation thing, right? We got the Gutenberg press, which is a type of printing press, which encourages you to do lots of books and lots of text, right? Japan did not. They got this thing called lithograph, which is not great for text, especially when you don't have, when you've got like an alphabet of 300 characters or whatever.
Yeah.
So there are these really amazing illustrators and artists from Japan who are very, very dead, and all of their work is in the public domain. So, like, the thing that you're looking at there, the dude summoning that guy, I want to say that's Utagawa Kuniyoshi from 1894.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I cleaned it up, and I fixed it and did stuff, but I didn't draw it.
Sure.
And, Utagawa Kuniyoshi drew it, and thank you so much, Utagawa and his ancestors and stuff, so I can use it. But, yeah. All that artwork has been sourced from, like, real-world historical scripts and woodblock prints and stuff like that.
The old saying, the best lies are wedged between 2 truths. That's what I like about things like this, is if you can pull from the real world, which kind of adds another level of legitimacy is not the word I'm really looking for.
It makes it easier to suspend disbelief.
Yeah, it does, because this existed. So at some point, it really lends to that feeling, that atmosphere of what you're doing is either possible, plausible, but definitely accessible. So, no, that's really cool.
There's a resonating truth to it.
Yeah. Yep. No, exactly. And that really kind of brings a different level of excitement and interest to any game that you do when you do things like that. So, no, this is absolutely wonderful.
I am so stoked to make those art orders, by the way.
Oh, what's that?
After, like, going through, I'm really excited about getting to pay my art team to do, what is it? I mean, it depends on how much money you get to do a stretch goals, right? And the artists that work into there. But off the bat, they are on for like 70 original illustrations, like that.
Okay.
It's $7,000 funding level.
Sure.
Yeah. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got some cool Imperial Dragons and what have you, but, like, I haven't gotten to, like, Order of Steam, and I can't wait to do that. And Claudio Poses is doing the cover.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you pick up Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or D&D products, you've seen Claudio's artwork. It's amazing. And you can see what he did last for me on the Kickstarter page. He did the Hypercore cover. And I can't wait to see what he does with, like, steampunk ninjas and samurai and yeah, I'm sure it'll be way better than whatever it is I can come up with.
No, it's always good to have a great team to work with to make a good quality product, and it looks like you've definitely assembled that team. Looking at this, you have a estimated delivery of August of this year, so you've got everything pretty much done except for some of these bits of artwork, it seems like.
Yeah, I've got my book outline done, I got my chapter outline done, I've got all the classes written, all the races written, all the feats written. I haven't written everything, because, I have a writing team. They have, between them, 36,000 words or 40,000 words or so to write.
Oh, wow.
But one of the reasons we're doing the fast turnaround time is, one, I want to have the fastest RPG Kickstarter turnaround time ever, so I can say that.
Sure.
And, this is my third one, right? So we did Varantia Codex, and I had this huge team of, 8 writers and designers, 3 main artists, but then other people on the side for cartography and then in Hypercore, I made the team smaller, and I found out that with fewer people doing stuff, I can do stuff way better. And let me reverse that. I can do stuff the way I want it to be done better.
Sure.
So I've removed agency, and then here in Mrs. Akuma, all those PDFs you look at, the promo ones.
Yep.
That was the Mike show, 100%.
Okay.
I did the layout, I did the page backgrounds, I did the graphics, I found the art, I cleaned it, I did the writing, I did the editing, I did the designing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Nice.
So, I'm at the point where I do 80 or 90% of the work that's not actually drawing something. And, we should be able to turn it around before the leaves start to fall. I'm pretty excited.
That is awesome. All right. So looking at this, if you want to get on board, your $20 pledge level is all gone. So if you want to get on board to get the PDF version of Mists of Akuma, that's $25 with the, like we said, the estimated delivery date of August of this year, 2016. And it looks like, at $30 gets you the PDF and an at-cost voucher for a print copy of the book. That is nice.
And we did very specifically did vouchers this time because, Varantia we did vouchers, and in Hypercore we took print orders up front. Okay. And while it's attractive as a backer to get the print order, it sucks for me as a producer because if I'm making 100 books and they raise the cost of printing by making the ink cost more or whatever, and that's only 13 cents a book, not such a big deal. I'm just one guy paying 13 cents. If I'm paying 13 cents 200 times, and that 13 cents is more like $1.50, that changes everything about the Kickstarter, and I've gone from being in the black into being in the red.
Yeah.
So, and also with Varantia, I should say, Varantia, we were supposed to do a 200-page book. We did a 386-page book. Nobody has complained to me that they had to pay another $2 extra for 200 additional pages of material.
Which is actually surprising knowing right? A lot of the
they
gamers
would be
I
fools
know.
to, yes.
Yeah. So,
there are some. There are
an amazing additional 200 pages. I'll say that. But yeah, so we didn't want to be restricted by budgetary costs and stuff like that. We're spending all the money we get on developing the book and making it as big and beautiful and awesome as we can. And with the vouchers, you can pay an extra $6 to get additional vouchers. So if you are, per se, the manager of a game store, and you think that a Claudio Posa cover artwork, dark Oriental adventures for D&D 5th would sell very well, you can order several vouchers, and then whenever the book is done, you will be able to sell it at a comparable retail price to what you normally would sell an RPG book for. It's not quite a 50% markup, but it's close to a 50% markup.
Nice. That is...
I want to support my local, friendly local game store owners. We have to. If we don't, the industry hobby will suffer very, very much. So, if you have a hobby shop, go there, please. They want to see you.
Yeah, always buy local whenever you can. And that's really incredibly savvy of you to have that kind of setup. We've spoken in the past about any Kickstarter that really kind of keeps retail in mind to try to make sure that they can get the product before you could get it through any other resource or distributor, and to be able to get it at a comparable price for when it does come through distribution is an incredible thing for Kickstarter folk to offer. So, and you've got a lot of different pledge levels here, and each one you get better and better goodies as you go. Which right at
the end, Hypercore, I find out that a lot of people like being contributors. So we set up a whole bunch of different contributor levels. It goes from including a couple of trinkets in like a list of stuff that you can get players to sell, to making one of the book will have 23 prefectures that are all fighting with one another basically. And each one will have like a government functionary that is kind of like a Johnson from Shadowrun.
Okay, yeah.
They're called Bengoshi. Yeah. And the Bengoshi bill will be there, and there'll be a henchman bill. So you could, pledge to write the henchman for the Uragi prefecture where they have illegal biological science, or you could pledge to do the Bengoshi from Sanbaoshi, which is the imperial capital, or any of the other prefecture shows. Or if you wanted to write Imperial Dragon, also an option. If you wanted to spend a lot of money and give me $1,000, I will give you a 4-page spread in the book, which includes 2 illustrations and a brand new prefecture that you come up with, a new imperial sibling for the backstory, how your prefecture happened and all that good stuff. And then we're also offering games. So I run stuff through Roll20 a lot, and at the very bottom of the Kickstarter page, you can see 3 actual play videos from games that I've run for folks. And I think starting at $60 is the first level where you can get a game, but every contributor level includes some games. And I spend a lot of time setting it up too. The maps are really sweet. You get a custom character token, and people say that I'm a good game master. I am skeptical still, but people seem to enjoy it.
Well, every game master, any good game master, I think, is always a little nervous about, how the games go. And I'm not sure I'd want to run into a GM that thinks that every game that they make is a gift from God himself.
I know one. It's like a 90-10 hit. When it's bad, it's really bad.
Yeah.
When it's good, it's really good.
Yep. All right. What we want to do now is we're going to segue from talking about Mists of Akuma, which 7 more days from today. So that would put us at the 15th. 1 week.
It'll be
May
2
15th.
weeks of the campaign. Yeah.
So, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I would have my dates completely crossed. There's 22 days. That was Toxicity that had the 7 days. I apologize. 22 days left to go for your campaign here. So that puts us at
at the very end of the month is when we're.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
so far we're over 50% of the goal is raised. So we are, in all of my experience, we are definitely going to fund. It's just a matter of how much we fund.
Yep.
I'm really hoping we get the Rob Schwab festival.
Oh yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, I met Rob the first time I went to Gen Con, and I ended up talking to him for an hour. He's a totally solid human being. I just kind of want to hang out with him,
Yeah, we've actually got a couple of friends that grew up with Rob Schwab in Mayville, Wisconsin.
Oh.
And hung out with all the Schwab brothers.
Oh, I can only imagine this.
Yeah, they've told some fun stories of some of the wacky adventures that they had back in the day. So definitely a cool group. And I'm really excited for you guys. And yeah, like you said, you're over halfway there. And yeah, at the trajectory this is going to definitely happen. So definitely get on board with Mists of Akuma. we are going to, since we have your ear and you're with us, Mike, we wanted to talk to you a little bit more, not so much about Mists of Akuma, but some of the history of some of your other works that you've done. We gave just a small list of some of the companies that you worked with at the beginning of the show, and it's an impressive list. And what we wanted to do is talk to you about, you mentioned in your bio that, in your education, you got into film studies. And I wanted to kind of get a feel for, one of my first questions I wanted to ask you is, with that degree in film studies, how do you feel that gives you an edge over other game designers and writers?
Saying that it gives me an edge would be inaccurate.
Okay.
I got into film because I wanted to tell stories, right? Everybody who is an entertainer ultimately wants to tell a story, even if it's a story as simple as like, hey, this is where the coin came from behind your ear,
Sure.
That's a really short, fast story, but, it's a story. And I graduated college early, so I walked in with like a year done already. And I found out like how the film industry works, and I was like, oh my God. I can't do that.
Okay.
So I tried to get into the ivory tower. Didn't work out so great. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna work and die. Which, by the way, is a bad way to live your life if you're not keen to that.
Yep.
And I met this girl, and she kidnapped me from a bar. Real story. Kidnapped me from the bar. And now we're engaged to be wed. And at one point or another, she was like, you really love this D&D stuff. Like, why don't you see if somebody wants to buy it off of you? And somebody did. And then other people wanted to. And I found out that, like, I can't eat well on this, but if I can produce enough, which is roughly like 3,000 or 4,000 words of material a day, then I can eat. And we've just been going like that. But to swing back around, how film studies informs what I do. So, like I was saying earlier, I'm used to doing like big, large national conflicts because I have a very good, like, comprehensive view whenever I look at like a global setting.
Okay.
I see that there's this spoke over here, and I know that this spoke on the other side is important for this spoke over here. And I don't know. I mean, I like setting up the stage. Like, I don't want to necessarily tell you this is a story you got to tell. I want to give you a lot of really amazing tools so you can find stories within the story that, like, you own. So, like, I still write adventures and stuff, and I provide adventure support, but, like, that's not what I'm really about. I'm more about building the stage that your characters can play on. Sure. And my film studies definitely helps on that whole comprehensive thing because, like, I mean, this is a long philosophical consideration, but film is, like, arguably the most comprehensive art form, right? It's not just music, it's not just sound, it's not just visual images, it's not just writing, it's all these. And also video games, but there's a lot of argument about whether or not video games qualify as films for the purpose of studies. It's called Logica. But yeah, and I found like the best way for me to maintain the most amount of control to tell the story that I want to tell the way I want to tell it is to do game design and make these like crazy worlds where, like I said, at this point I'm doing 80 to 90% of the work that is not drawing stuff, and that's only because I can't draw stuff.
Sure.
But like the vision that I have is the vision that comes out. And if I was like with a literature background, I think it would be different. I think it would have more of a focus on like individual characters and like plot arcs that are absolutely vital to the story. And like, yeah, stuff that I'm not interested in because I'm not a lit major.
But basically what you've been saying, though, is your strong suit is and where you feel the most comfortable is giving people the resources and tools to release their own inner lit majors and do all of that other work. You're just giving people the box of tools and resources for them to basically fine tune and create a very specific world or setting within the genre that you're writing for, and make that happen for them. So that seems to work out very well for you.
Thank you. People think so. I gotta do better about taking compliments. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. While we're talking about your huge list of the companies that you've managed to produce work for, what project would you say was the toughest to work on out of all of the different companies and projects that you've worked on? What was the toughest?
There's been a lot of tough ones, man. Some of them I don't think they're mentioning because it wouldn't be fair to the individuals involved. So I'm just going to go with like stuff that I'm responsible for and people cannot get upset at me for. Hypercore was probably the hardest.
Okay.
Because so in Hypercore, like I played Mystic Adventures and I enjoyed it. It was fun, but I didn't it wasn't the epic level play I wanted, and I set out to make the epic level play I wanted, and I did. It was great. And then I had to convert it all to systems, which was because so in Pathfinder it was really easy because it was just a numbers game, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Like you want to play a super strong character, it's really easy to do. We'll just make your strength really high. Because of bounded accuracy in D&D 5th edition, that's not so easy to do. We still did it, and we did a great job. Rich Howard ended up helping design the hyperscore system for that, but it was not the exact same thing that I'd done in Pathfinder because, it just wasn't possible to do that.
Okay.
And getting, finding the good middle ground and getting that into 5th edition was really, really difficult, and I was really, really happy when I was done and looked at it and was like, okay, this makes sense. Playtests are working out. Oh my God, thank God. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the process of doing all the work that you've done, you've won an ENnie. What was it like to win an ENnie? I mean, to hold that in your hand and go, oh wow.
There are many ENnies like it.
Yeah.
There's actually video of it somewhere. I have never won awards. I'm not an award-winning guy, or at least not traditionally anyway. So I kind of heard my name and went up and accepted it and was like, thanks everybody, I don't know how to accept awards. So I mean, it was pretty awesome. It kind of blew me away. Yeah, I don't know. I look forward to getting more of them. I look forward to getting up there and knowing what I'm going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that first time out, you don't really think to, write down some words on a card so that you've got something to say. I'm sure that really did catch you flat-footed. What was there an after party afterwards, and did you get to meet some other cool writers and game designers that you really wanted to meet but hadn't had an opportunity to?
Well, the ENnie is a public event. If you're at Gen Con, you can go. It's held in the Grand Central train station thing. It's right near the convention center. You can throw a football and hit the building. I mean, if you have a good arm, anyway. Baseball, yeah. And yeah, I mean, you hang out with people beforehand. Afterwards, I did hang out with people. I think Owen Stevens bought me a drink, actually. He's kind of my mentor. He's awesome. If you guys don't know who Owen Stevens is, go check out his stuff. He's amazing. He wrote Star Wars D20 RPG and a bunch of other great stuff. And he's just genuinely a good human being, by the way. Him and Al, they are great.
Cool.
But yeah, we went and got dinner. It was neat. Yeah, and if you are a game designer, go to the ENnies just so you can meet people and be seen and be met.
Nice. Well, that kind of leads up to the next question that I have is what would you recommend for people to do to get them started on the path to being game writers or game designers?
Well, figure out first how deep you want to get. I took this I will do or die attitude, and I cannonballed into the pool. I don't have children. If I did, I wouldn't have done that.
Sure. Yep.
Because, I don't know if you guys have heard the story about the writer who just started their career and did a great job, because I haven't. It's always like a struggle. But, figure out how involved you want to be. It's very easy to, do it on the weekends and stuff, and there are a lot of resources to help you. There are a lot of people who will help you. It's not the market it was, doing this 10 years ago was way more difficult than it is today. There's, stock art that you can get. You can release a really sweet-looking PDF, building it yourself using Adobe InDesign and, help website. Definitely try it if you think you want to do it. The first thing I did was release a free product, see, how people reacted to the stuff that I did. It's called the Magical Item Compendium. It was 3 years ago. It's been a while.
No worries,
but people really dug it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, people like this. Let's do another thing. And it's very, 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 very emotionally rewarding. Not so much financially rewarding, but, that's something you got to build up to.
Yeah.
And the thing to do, if you're just doing your own stuff and you don't have a system that you're, designing for, Pathfinder, right? Say you want to make your Frog Warriors RPG. Use forums and stuff, visit the EN world, get people's feedback. Don't be afraid to get people's feedback, because when you start selling stuff and people pay you for it, they will give you their feedback, especially if they don't like it.
Sure, yep.
So be prepared to toughen up your skin and write every day. Every day. I don't care what's going on with your life. Sit down and write at least a paragraph every day. It is a skill. If you haven't written anything for 10 years and you sit down to write something, I promise you're going to be really excited, or excited isn't the right word, surprised by the quality of what you're writing.
Sure.
So it's a skill, treat it like a skill, fashion it and hone it like a skill. And, just get out there. Get out there as much as you can. And don't work for free. That is bad for you, and it's bad for everybody else.
Okay.
Exposure dollars do not pay for.
If you work for exposure, you will die from exposure.
Yeah, truer words have never been spoken. Yeah, there's no such thing as, there is such a thing as exposure, but it doesn't do much for you.
No, I've always been
putting you on the path and putting food on the table. If what you're
doing, who you're working for, if their exposure is worth it, then they can afford to pay you, because they're a big enough company and they have a good enough name where they can afford to give you some money.
Yeah, I got a lot of amazing exposure from the EN world, and I also got paychecks from the EN world. Because they have a very wide swath of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of users. Don't let anybody tell you that your work is not worth money, because if they want your work from you, it's worth something. No,
exactly.
And it's harder to. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say it's harder to be a freelance writer than it is to be a freelance artist. I feel if you're a freelance artist, I promise you guys get paid more per hour than the freelance writers, just because there are so many more.
That and I think you can get a better idea for someone's ability as an artist in 2 seconds than you can from 2 seconds of checking out someone's writing. You need to put a bit more time to figure out if someone's actually a good writer.
Also very true.
Than to say, oh, you can just go, that's a really pretty picture.
Yeah. Yep.
Our work is transitory too, right? The copy that I write for Mr. Akuma isn't something I'm going to be able to pick up and sell as the exact same words to somebody else down the line.
Sure.
But our work that appears in Mr. Akuma could probably appear in other books too. So the individual work of a writer is has less resale value than the individual work of an artist.
Sure.
Especially if you're a smart artist and you retain rights to your artwork.
Yeah. Yep. And the writing is specifically for a thing, and the probability of recycling that material into something else is pretty low. So yeah, for doing any kind of specialized work, I don't care what it is, that's usually that you get a little bit more for something like that, and as well you should. I think one of the last questions I wanted to ask you is you work a lot with, Mists of Akuma especially is for 5th edition D&D. What are some of the things that are really great about 5th edition that really kind of put you in that direction for Mists of Akuma?
That was one of the things that drove me nuts about Hypercore. There's this, I write about the standard for the ENnie side or Patreon. So like D&D 5th is, I mentioned, is more of a narrative game than the simulation of Pathfinder, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of GM ruling implicit mechanics. Like they specifically leave out elements of the rules with the expectation that the GM will say, this is what the ruling of that is. And then, that gives legitimacy to the GM. It actually does great stuff for games. It is a huge pain in the ass if you're a designer. And it can be a trouble if you're a GM and you decide to change the ruling, that is going to upset the table, but they'll get over it.
Sure.
So, with Hypercore, we went through that, and I kept, slamming my head against the wall, being like, God, where's the rule for this? Oh, there is no rule for that. Do I have to make a rule for that? Oh, I don't know. So, that was actually one of the things I wanted, did this rule, because, I want to design something for this from the start, because, there are all these nooks and crannies I'm finding in it, and I want to find those nooks and crannies. So, there's some more vagaries in the rules of Mists of Akuma than you'll find in Hypercore Pathfinder or Rampant Pathfinder. And the fact that it's a more narrative game can be used to design a stronger product and tell a better story than necessarily otherwise. I do feel bad though for the Adventurers League people, because that has to be insanity. Constantly running to my GM from this other table in whatever city said this works this way. I don't think that happens as much. I'm sure that happens in Pathfinder Society, but I promise it's 5 times as more common in Adventurers League. And there's no solid, very well tended message board forum system for WotC, because they just threw their forums out the window. So good on you if you're a 5e Adventurers League GM. Fight the good fight, man.
All right. What we're going to do here is, first off, thank you very much for taking the time. And we're going to, before we wrap things up, we're going to give you an opportunity to give your message for where people can find you and find out more about your work here. So hang on for that. Wanted to talk a little bit about feedback, though. Mihoshika, who watches us on YouTube, gave us a little bit of feedback. We've switched to blab.im to do our video recording, and from that we extract the audio from that. So it's been kind of an interesting transition. We used to use Google Hangouts, which there's some good things about it. There's some things about it that we didn't necessarily like, so we thought we'd give Blab a try. And one of the things that they've changed is with Google Hangouts, there is one screen for you to look at. And when somebody talks, that screen pops over to focus on that person, which is kind of nice in a way. But Mihoshika brings up a good point. I think I prefer the split screen over switching to who is talking. So in blab.im, and we do ship this over and upload it to YouTube, you'll notice that each person has their own set static view. And so you can kind of see reactions and interactions between people as opposed to just seeing one individual. And now that I've got things kind of figured out using Manycam, so we can get, like we can bring up the game that Glenn is reviewing at the time, things are working out a little bit better for that. So thanks for taking the time to give us some feedback on that. Appreciate that. Speaking of YouTube, you can find out more about our meetings, show notes for each meeting, and contact information and subscription links by going to gncasts.com/adventure. And you can also find us on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/galacticnetcasts. And like I mentioned earlier, we've got more shows than just the Adventure Party. The Galactic Netcast Network has a variety of shows, and each show has its own playlist. So if you check us out on YouTube, you can just take a look at all the individual playlists, and we've got shows that cover a lot of different subjects. Most of them are geeky. So if you're into stuff like now my brain is completely turned off. Some of our other shows, Podcast of Terror. So if you're into horror movies, Corey and Matt have a guest typically every week, and they talk about the horror movie genre. And they talk about movies that they've seen, news, and other things. They're getting guests in the horror industry too. So that's been a really fun and interesting show. We have a monthly show called the Sci-Fi Survival Guide, done by Daryl Johnston, which is one part how to survive in a particular apocalyptic situation, whether that's an alien invasion, whether that's a Terminator situation, whether that's trying to think of a good what is it? A boy and his dog, like post-apocalyptic, the bomb has dropped and humanity needs to move on. It's one part that, and the other part is a bit of theater of the mind. So Daryl will spend half of the show talking about some of the more realistic aspects of what could happen in a particular circumstance for the end of the world, and he extrapolates that and turns it into a bit of theater, and gives like a one-person perspective of somebody going through that particular scenario and what could happen. So it's a very fascinating show, and one that you should really check out. And you can find all that at gncasts.com. If you're using iTunes or Stitcher, please take a moment to give us a review and let us know what you think. Your reviews, positive or negative, can help shape the Adventure Party and help make it into a better show. You can also leave us feedback by emailing adventure@gncasts.com, or you can call or text us at the number 805-328-3966. Again, 805-328-3966. And if you do text us at that number, depending on your particular cellular plan, there might be a charge for that, just to give you a fair warning. Like I mentioned, we have a number of different shows. Oh, here's the list. Boy, if I would have just looked a little further down the page. Weird World Weekly is a great show. It's about a half an hour long, usually a little bit shorter than that. But they talk about urban legends, or the Dyatlov Pass incident, or I'm trying to think about one of the recent ones. It was a ghost ship that was discovered, and a lot of rumors about what was actually true, what actually happened, what was not the deal. But they kind of go through all the bits of that through the
Nazi stop in the Great Lakes.
No, I'm trying to think. It was off the. Oh shoot! Now I can't remember. It was from a few months ago, and it was a cruise. It was like a cruise ship. Was it a cruise ship? It was a smaller ship, and it kind of like a Mary Celeste situation. It was like everybody was gone, but nobody really. Yeah, but there were some bodies there, and
we should tune into the podcast to find out about.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, Mike. You saved me. I kind of talked myself into a corner. I appreciate the assist. Sci-Fi Geeks Club, which is another show where we talk about stuff in sci-fi. We have a guest. We've had Andy Weir, the writer of The Martian, on. We've had Hugh Howey on, the writer of Wool and a number of other amazing sci-fi things. We've had Tom Merritt on, who's written a number of books and does a number of podcasts. We've had a lot of really awesome people on that show, and we spend an hour and a half just talking about sci-fi and including the guest in on that and getting their perspective from what particular type of sci-fi they've been interested in and what they've managed to produce in that particular genre. So a lot of different shows that you can check out at gncasts.com. So I want to thank you, Mike, for joining us. And where can people find out more about you, more about Mists of Akuma, and more about some of the other projects that you've worked on?
I want to start off. Please check out Mists of Akuma. It's really easy. www.mistsofakuma.com. AKUMA. You can find out more about me on my Facebook page. Find me on Facebook. My name is Mike Myler, Myler. And my website has information on me. I update it at least twice a month, MikeMyler.com. If you want to see my two earlier intellectual properties, my original home campaign setting is called Varantia Codex. If you go to www.varantiacodex.com, there's free stuff. And then the last project I did was Hypercore. Definitely go to the Hypercore2099.com because not only are there free stuff, but like it's this whole meta thing where I play a character that is in the book. Just go check it out. There's like a 2-minute video. It'll blow your mind away.
Yeah, I've actually pulled this up. If folks are checking us out on video, it's you go to hypercore2099.com and you're immediately kind of in the setting, kind of immersed in that world. And here's the video from right off the bat. And
if you're going to be at PaizoCon, you can't miss us because me and the design team are coming dressed as our characters from the book for our seminars and stuff. I'm really stoked about it.
Nice.
Watch free stuff. Check out MrVakuma.com. By the time this goes up, we'll still have at least 2 weeks to go for the Kickstarter, and help us unlock more awesome stuff, please. And thank you for tuning into the podcast. And Brad and Glenn, thanks for having me on. This is very fun.
No, absolutely. We're glad that we can have you on, and the next project you work on, or even a follow-up to how things went with Mists of Akuma. We would love to have you back, Mike.
I'm actually emailing you guys something right now.
Oh, excellent. Cool. I wanted, of course, thank Glenn for joining us once again for yet another meeting of the Adventure Party. Where can people find out more about you, more about the B-Movie Bunker, which is a YouTube show that you do where you review usually B-movies, and more about your RPG that you created called Mist Runner?
You can find out a lot about me. Just follow me on Facebook. You also have Mist Runners on Facebook, as is the B-Movie Bunker. You can check out me on Twitter at Guy in a Bunker, or on YouTube, Guy in a Bunker Productions, or also follow some of my other podcasts. I'm on the Spoiler Room, Astro Radio Z, and the Film Jerks.
Yes, you are.
I stay busy.
You are a very busy man. And you also manage a gaming store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know how you do it all. You are the BFD, as always. And if you get a chance, check out the Guy in the Bunker stuff, because your horror short films are also there to be viewed.
Yes,
we have Hell, Handy, and
Hell, Handy, and Prey.
There we go, Prey. Yep, I think Prey was my favorite of the three. I think.
Oh, I thought that was I don't think that was a play on Eat, Pray, and Love.
No, they're actually the one-word titles for 3 different horror shorts that he created. Which check them out on YouTube. They're really good. So I want to thank everybody for joining us again at the Adventure Party. May your characters never die and your adventures always be epic. Thank you and good night.